You are listening to the Weird Realities Network, where we bring you news from the Weirdverse 2, 3, and sometimes 4 times a week. Not much is off topic because we embrace our weird on our quest to expand our minds. You can find our team discussing everything from world history, weird science, chemistry, cryptozoology, lost civilizations, and holistic and health healing practices. Created by authors, researchers, and mystics, Weird Realities is for those looking to meet others who challenge them to think outside of what is considered normal and wonder, what if?
Hey Weirdos, welcome back to another thrilling episode of Watching Weird. Tonight is extra special because we're celebrating our very own Alan's birthday with some hand-picked lineup of truly epic movies, for better or for worse. We're going to kick it off with some Crackcoon, and I'm going to turn this over to the boys.
Scott, why do you hate me?
All right, let me explain. Crackcoon by Gary Lee Vincent. I met this guy at a convention. I walked by, and when you see the book, I had to stop. We chatted. He said he was making a movie. I bought the book. Read the book. The book is funny, and the few previews looked good. The movie's got nothing to do with the book. The movie sucks. I admit it. I apologize. Like in the book, the Gary Lee Vincent plays the game warden, and it's funny because his wife, who's a loving housewife, not a cheap slut, is feeding the raccoon. She's feeding all the animals. And there's like this one scene in the book where he's standing there while his wife is feeding the raccoon, talking about how he's got to go out there and find the killer of all these kids. Book is fantastic. I highly recommend it. You'll love it. The movie, don't waste your time. I felt so bad as I was watching this.
Yeah. Tina was like, who picked this? Did Scott pick this movie? I'm like, yep.
Poor Scott.
No, Tony, none of the good scenes in the book are in the movie. The only saving grace in the movie is John Russo from Night of the Living Dead plays the mortician.
Well, give us the plot, Scott.
The plot is simply enough. It focuses on a park ranger who's got a slutty wife, but he loves her. He doesn't realize she's a slut. And there's a group of kids, like any good slasher movie, that are going to the cabin up in these woods. And they call one of the guy's drug buddies to drive up and get them some drugs. The drug they got is this new form of crack that like sets you like really high. And as they're driving up, a police car pulls them over. So like they quickly turn around the corner. One of the guy throws the bag of crack into the woods, and before they can come back to get it, a raccoon eats it. And after that, the raccoon goes on their psychotic, meth-filled killing spree. Like I said, the book is funny because it's like he kills, comes off his high, goes to the game warden's house, eats, goes back, eats some crack, kills. This is just nonstop horrible deaths. The acting was horrendous in this one. The only actor that I really liked, other than John Russo, was, and I can't think of the kid's name, I'll look it up in a minute, was the kid, the effeminate kid who threw the crack out, and like he's the only one of the two crack guys that survives, and he's running through the woods trying to warn people, and nobody will believe him. But other than that, if I'd watched the movie before, I would have recommended it for the worst movie of the year. So, and that's pretty much it. The raccoon goes on a killing spree. It kills dozens of people until it's finally taken care of at the end. And of course, like most of all of the kids wind up getting killed in stupid ways. So,
again, the way was always the same. It was somebody throwing a sock puppet raccoon, which looked like a mop, at somebody's neck, and they went ah, and then there was just blood and entrails everywhere. It was just terrible.
It was.
That was pretty much the only way that. Well, there was one other way that we're not going to go into, but that was more or less the only way that the stupid thing killed anybody. There's a lot of gore, but it's that like sort of peanut butter and ketchup gore. It's just not good. And like Scott said, the acting's terrible. There's no special effects per se, other than like I said, the peanut butter and ketchup gore with some pigs' intestines. It was just so bad. And when I say it really does look like somebody ripped off a mop head and threw it at the people as the attacking animal. And when you look at the actual Crackcoon, it really does look like a sock puppet. Not as bad as Velocipaster, but still not good. It was just this is such a terrible movie. It doesn't have any redeeming qualities at all. Don't watch it. You will be dumber for doing so. It's just not worth it. It's terrible. I will read the book though, Scott.
I'm telling you, I love the book. The book is good, which is the reason why I recommended this. And after Crackcoon, he did another one, Crocodile.
Crocodile.
Yeah. So
What do you think, Hadley?
I thought it did look like a Muppet. I didn't watch all of it. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. It's because of one of the other movies just took up 2 nights with me trying to watch it. But yeah, it was pretty bad. It was definitely a Scott pick. No offense.
So I've regained my place from Rich for the worst movie picked.
What was mine? It was so bad.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either, but I remember taking the mantle and it was really bad.
Like I said, Scott, why do you hate me? This is like getting underwear, tidy whities for your birthday from your best friend. You know? And they're regifted tidy whities. They're not even, brand new. So they're kind of beige. They're not, this movie was horrible. It was like Rich said, it was a puppet. I love the scene where it's getting into the backpack. It's biting the zipper and it's pulling the zipper down, then it climbed. I mean, that was hilarious because it just looked like a Muppet, trying to do something. And have these guys never met a gay guy that wrote it? I mean, those guys that played the 2 gay guys, it was just, over the top. And I guess maybe they meant to be that way, but, I think people would be offended probably by their portrayal.
Yeah.
In the writer playing himself, playing the ranger in there, and his wife, she was evil. Man, she was evil. I like, he's telling her to take up painting, and she's painting. It shows her later she's painting a hot dog. How did this movie get made? How has none of our books been made into a movie at least this cheap? And this has been. I'm sure he did it for the money and to get it out there. That's the only thing I can figure out. Because if you said the book's great, this movie is horrible. This is worse than the cocaine shark movie. When the guys run around with the paper mache shark head. At least that had some kind of acting in it, I guess. I thought one of the good actors was the guy that took his girlfriend to the, there to the lake or whatever for their trip to stay in Florida for spring break. He had some,
like 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I don't know how they made this movie. I really don't. I know, if Douglas Ferdig was here, Doug, there's skin in this movie. That's. This movie made no sense at all.
No.
The cover of that book right there is better than all 90 minutes of this movie or whatever it was. So thank you.
And the reason they got the funding for it was because the book came out about the same time as Cocaine Bear. So somebody thought, oh, let's grab this book and jump on the bandwagon. And they might have succeeded if they followed the book.
Well, Scott, you're getting the smallest piece of cake.
That's okay.
Marble Landa, sorry that you rented it. You probably rented it, huh?
Oh, no.
We don't give refunds. We don't give refunds.
Refunds or exchanges.
But any of you that saw it, I apologize for Scott.
I apologize, and I've never apologized for a movie before.
But if you're following a movie Scott picked out, you know what you're in for.
So I think for the turkey of the year, we need to make a list of our top 10 bad movies we watched this year and vote on them, and then do our 3 turkeys of the year.
Yeah.
That we have specially picked for the turkeys.
Yeah, this movie takes all 10 spots. Thank you, though. It's the thought that counts, right, Scott?
Yes, hang on.
So what I don't understand is, I mean, the 4 of us have at least one published book.
Yeah.
If they came to you and they said, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this movie. And right. You saw the filming the movie. I don't really know how it goes, but I would imagine I've heard that they'll pay you a crap load of money and you have nothing to say about it. You can't say anything about it. Yeah, or they give you smaller amounts of money and you have a little bit of creative input. Now, to me, I don't know how you say okay to something like this.
Yeah.
Once they gave them, here's $50,000. We're gonna make a movie out of your book. Maybe they did that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Just on the money because
Well, you just never know. I mean,
I guess
because
so.
You have to admit, people probably went out and bought the book after seeing this movie.
I mean, yeah, maybe, or even before seeing the movie. Hey, they made that a movie. Let's
which is what I did. But it was directed by Brad Twigg. But one of the writers on it was Gary Lee Vincent.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Doc.
And I've not seen anything that the other guy has done. Dude boxes. Greetings from Planet Gurgon. Oh my God.
Nice. I heard Gurgon's a pretty swinging planet.
Yeah.
He's got to take some kind of responsibility for this. Yeah. He really does. I mean, I want to dig on the guy. He's an indie writer that, hey, he got a book made into a movie. He's got another one I think is coming out, right? Another book that's being made into a movie.
Oh no, he's got the book out. I don't think they're not making Crocodile into a movie that I know about.
Yeah, probably too big of a puppet.
Yeah.
You have to get one of Shaquille O'Neal's socks or something.
No, that's like to throw, like they did the mop.
Yeah.
Throw an alligator or a crocodile, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This was on the level of cocaine crabs from outer space. This was, except, that one didn't have any skin. This one did. So I think that was going to be their selling point, on this one. Get some teenage boys and, Scott to rent it. And Ash. I appreciate it though, Scott. I really do. I was hoping this was going to be decent. You know what I mean? I was hoping it was going to be silly and fun, but it was neither.
No.
Or neither, whichever word you want to take. But I do appreciate the thoughts, y'all. No one else in my household brought me Crackcoon, so.
And again, I say, he's a friend of mine. Honestly, the book is 4.5 stars. It's great.
Hey, it's you. Well, I don't know you. I don't know now because you're giving some good some movies, but you really rave about that book, and you did when you were at that convention. You're talking about where you met him, and you really enjoyed the book. Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a try, and I just I'm thinking maybe you got some money, and which one of us wouldn't want our book made into a movie?
Yeah.
You just don't want I know, Rich. I know you don't want, the big guy in your book to be played by Tom Cruise. I know you don't want to go
No.
like that. You want him to be played by the guy that plays Reacher right now. Yeah, I get that. But I think, he was like, hey, sure, someone's going to give me money to write this crazy Crackcoon movie or be part of it, whatever, I'll do it. So there's always hope, though, because a friend of mine that started out in Fallon Express, Darren Wearmouth, he's not part of it now, but he used to be at the beginning. He wrote sci-fi and stuff. He hooked up with James Murray of what's those guys that do that prank show?
Jackass.
Not Jackass. There's like 4 of them, and they dare each other to do stuff.
Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, he hooked up with Murr. Yeah, he hooked up with Murr there, and they started writing a series about monsters in the sewer type of thing.
Yeah.
It got real big, and then they did. They've got this murder one out that they're filming. They're actually making a movie of. I forgot the name of it, and he's on set as the writer, and Murray's the producer, and there's a bunch of other people. So there's always hope. Dennis Wearmouth was an indie writer, and he's got a movie in the works, just like Gary Lee Vincent. So
you never know.
There's always hope, right?
Lay down.
So what do you guys rate this one? What do you all rate this one?
I'll go first, and I'm giving it a 0.
Oh, wow.
I'm giving it a 1 because he's a friend of mine, and the book, knowing what the book is like, I'll give it a 1. And I'm being very generous.
Hadley?
I'll give it a half because I like Muppets.
I'm
not enough Muppets in film.
I'm gonna give it a 1 because Scott. Don't rent, folks. Wait till you can find one on Tubi or something. Really, don't. It's
unless you're like really high or really drunk, then it might be a good movie.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a good drug-induced animal movie, just watch Cocaine Bear, because that was really surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do not need Crackcoon.
Yeah. So thanks again, Scott. Okay. So what's up next, you guys?
Night Watch.
Night Watch.
All right.
So this is a wild and visually striking Russian urban fantasy that plunges you into a supernatural showdown between the forces of light and darkness in present-day Moscow. Long ago, the warriors of light and darkness battled it out, but realized neither could win, so they struck a truce. Now there's an uneasy peace maintained by 2 groups, the Day Watch, who keep an eye on the baddies, and the Night Watch, who monitor the good guys. It's like a supernatural Cold War. Our hero in this is Anton Gordetsky, which I'm probably saying wrong, and he is a jaded member of the Night Watch with a troubled past. He gets caught in a mind-bending prophecy that could upset the delicate balance between good and evil, setting the stage for a cosmic throwdown. There are vampires, shapeshifters, witches, and a ton of high-octane action mixed with trippy visuals as Anton races against time to save Moscow, maybe the world. This is a unique mix of horror, fantasy, and a lot of Russian folklore. I found Night Watch to be a heady trip through a world where shadows are alive and the moral gray area dominates. If you like this sort of thing, which y'all know I do, this is stylish, chaotic, and a little darker than your average superhero film. I thought it was fun. I saw this originally in subtitles back in 2004 or 5, I think. And just so y'all know, this was Russia's box office phenomenon. Night Watch was a massive hit in Russia. It became one of the highest grossing films of all time in the country at the time of its release. It outperformed The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Rings, and Spider-Man in the Russian box office. It is in a trilogy, followed by the 2006 Day Watch, and there is a third part called Dusk Watch, which has long been rumored but has been unproduced as of current. It received Hollywood attention. For the time, particularly for a Russian film, they had groundbreaking visual effects, which of course now are very sloppy and not as flashy as what we're used to. But it, again, remember, this came out in 2004. So nowadays you can get the dubbed version of Night Watch in English-speaking markets, and that kind of changed the pacing of it for me. But also, this is based on a best-selling novel by Sergio Lacninko, I think, and but the novel is the same name. And so this was my homage to Alan Gamboa. I thought he would enjoy the dump truck. But anyway, so that's my take on Night Watch. Alan, what did you think?
Well, let me hear these two other gentlemen's,
Okay.
and then I'll give mine.
Okay.
I just want to hear.
It's your birthday,
Scott.
Okay. I tried to watch this movie like 10 years ago and was bored. I'm glad you made us watch this, Hadley. I think the movies were great. And I thought Day Watch, the ending of Day Watch just floored me. I fell in love with the series after that. It really deals with the choices you make and the things you do and how it affects other people. The special effects are good, especially considering it's a Russian movie and they're not big on special effects. The second one's got a lot of comedy in it, which I enjoyed. It was a good movie. I was riveted by it. I watched it one night, and then the only reason I didn't watch the next one was I had to get up for work the next morning. Good. I've never read the books. Good plot, extremely well written. Acting is pretty good. I really like this one. This is one of the better movies I've seen this year so far. Both of them.
Rich?
Did I watch a different movie? All kidding aside, does this one start off on a bridge? Like
Yeah.
there's a fight on the bridge?
Yes.
I don't know what movie you watched versus what I watched, because this was awful. This was, oh my God, this was terrible. I mean, it wasn't Crackcoon level bad. First of all, I have no idea what this movie was about. Going into it, the first 5 minutes, I'm like, wait a minute, this is going to be cool. This is a Russian flick about, the forces of evil and the forces of good, and they make this truce. I was like, wow, there's some blood. Look at that guy. He got a sword in the head. This is going to be cool. And then fast forwards to, I think, 1992. Something like that.
Yeah.
1992.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? What the hell is this? And it just keeps going in this vein of there's this superhero vampire guy, I guess. And you're like, he kind of looks like the guy that went into the witches with the baby. And I'm like, wait, what? And okay, all right, I'll go with that. It's like one guy's got short hair, the other guy's got long hair. Is that the same guy? I couldn't really tell. Turns out it is the same guy. And there's this curse, and it just flips back on him. But I still don't know what the friggin' movie was about. I have no idea. It was just this conglomeration of mishmash crap that they threw together and tried to aim in a certain direction, and you were supposed to follow it. And I was like, okay, I can deal with subtitles. I can deal with it. This one was actually dubbed. I can deal with the dub and stuff like that. But I would like to say that it fell flat, but it never got going to fall flat. It was just so. I don't want to say it was boring, because it wasn't boring. My attention was grabbed. It was just, it never really did anything but grab my attention. I was like, all right, I need to see this because I heard it was good. I mean, and it made a ton of money. And then I was like, but who told us it made a ton of money? That's coming out of Russia. I mean, did the Russian judges say that
You don't trust the Russians?
Because come on, it was just,
rubles. It was in rubles.
bad. Yeah, right. Yeah, we made million rubles on this movie.
Rubles.
No, it was.
Yes.
I don't know. It wasn't for me, and I'm not crapping on your opinions. You guys got your own opinions. Me, this is just. I will never even. I'm actually deleting this movie. This is a movie that I actually have on my hard drive. Gone. It's history. It was that bad. Crackcoon, yeah, same. But this was. I apologize because I understand that you guys liked it, but oh my god, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I can't agree. I'm sorry.
Well, I will say this, that when I watched the dub version, a lot of stuff I let go. Wilson. A lot of stuff I let go because I really felt like I was missing stuff in translation. And in the dubbed version, I was still just as confused. Wilson has a lot to say about this.
Yeah, apparently.
Wilson's pissed too that he watched the movie. I will say that, well, like Scott, the second film, are we doing Day Watch as its own thing, or are we kind of mixing them together? Yeah. I liked it a little better. I mean, it's still never a movie I'm going to watch again, and I'm not going to rate it high. But there was some funny stuff, and it did have a cool ending. I don't want to wreck it for anybody that's going to watch it. But it had I wouldn't say a cool ending. I would say the ending is far superior to the piece of crap that came before it. I watched the ending on the one, but I'm honestly, it was on the rooftop, right? It was just bad. But the second one, it had a little bit of a better ending, and there was some funny parts to it. And the special effects were a little better because it was a little later. I think one was 2004 or 2006, and the next one was like 2016 or 2014 or something like that. So it was a little better. Not great. It's not a film you're going to lose yourself in, but it was more acceptable than the first piece of garbage. I'm sorry, everyone. Everybody hates me now.
Well, Hadley's been wanting me to ask me to watch this one for a bit before. And Hadley, I didn't watch it. No, I'm kidding. I watched them. I enjoyed them. I really did. They were fun movies. It was like a mishmash of Ghostbusters, The Matrix, Blade. You know, it was all those concepts because Russians are good at that. If you watch any of the Russian sci-fi movies now, stuff like that, they're all rip-offs of American movies. You know, they just their spin on them. Yeah, and they actually have good effects. They actually do put a budget in there. You know, because you can probably hire somebody for 2 rubles to build you a spaceship or something. But this movie's like you said, Rich. It's a mishmash of things. You know, there's a lot going on in it. You know, the special effects in the first one weren't as good as the second one. Mm-hmm. The fight on the bridge was cool. I like when those 2 guys run up on each other and they impale each other and they're just stuck together and they're dead. You know, at the beginning. And that car, I think they might have been the first ones to do that car driving up the side of the building. I know they did that. If you ever seen that Mila Jovovich, what's her name, Scott?
Mila Jovovich.
Yes, that movie Ultraviolet. They do that nonstop in the movie. They have them drive motorcycles up the side of a building, cars up the side of the building. So that was cool. It had a lot of neat things in it. I like when he switched bodies with Olga. You know, that was kind of funny. When he's like
when they switch back in the elevator.
Yeah, that was pretty good. There was a few slow parts in it. The ending was great. Mm-hmm. You know, had a great ending, I thought. You know, and it clearly left it open for that part 3 they're talking about. I enjoyed this one. I did. I watched it over 2 nights. I watched one late last night and then one today and the other one today. The guy that directed it, and I think he wrote the screenplay for it because like you said, Rich, it was based on books. And somebody, I forgot who it was, told me the books are great. But the guy that did the screenplay, directed it, directed Abraham Lincoln Vampire. So you could see some of the similarities with the special effects and stuff that were done in that movie. I like that. I like that.
That's why that name looks so familiar.
Yeah, or something, blah, 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 blah. Sorry.
Mampetov.
Yeah. What you said.
Yeah.
So, Hadley, you get a bigger piece of cake.
Oh.
Because I enjoyed this one.
I shouldn't get any cake, honestly.
This is something I would love to see redone.
At my birthday party, everybody gets cake. You know, whether they crap on me or not, they get cake. So sometimes that's the entertainment. Anyway.
Well, I appreciate you watching it, and I'm glad that you and Scott enjoyed it. I hate that Rich didn't, but like I said, I enjoyed it. There's certain aspects of these movies that I just think. I'm sorry. Now I've got another dog bitching at me in the back. I don't know if y'all heard her. It was winter. She either needs water or she wants to go outside. But vampire aspect in this, I thought was very interesting with the fight with the vampire with the glass or the mirror.
Yeah,
that's something I've never seen done before, and I just really enjoyed it.
The gloom and the gloom or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I thought it was fun, and it had that kind of kick-ass breaking in doors stuff that you like, Alan, but it did it in a very Russian way, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought it was fun. I thought y'all liked it.
And I like the Ghostbusters characters, you know, the shapeshifters, the three amigos there that, you know, I like those characters. That was fun. They drove around, of course, in the garbage truck, you know.
The truck flip was interesting.
Yeah. And I love at the end when that big Ferris wheel comes ripping through the city. You know, I thought that was a cool scene. You know, I'm really surprised Rich didn't like it, but
I just couldn't get into it, man.
Yeah, I think in your frame of mind sometimes too. I'm not saying, you know, but when you're watching it, because I was first watching, I was like, oh, you know, and then I was like, oh, man, this ain't bad stuff. So, Scott, what do you give this one?
I give Night Watch a 3.75. I give Day Watch a 4.25 because the ending on that just blew me away.
Yeah, the ending was good. How about you, Rich?
I'll give Night Watch a 2, and I'll give Day Watch 3.25.
Okay. And Hadley, I think I'm having you last because I wanted you to see their reviews.
Yeah, and I give them both a 4. I mean, I enjoy them. Like I said, I go into it looking at it that way. You don't see a lot of movies like this from Russia.
Yeah.
So it was fun for me, and I liked seeing the folklore and the use of their culture in it. Like I said, this is something I would love to see redone by an American team, just where it was smoother and the storyline was more interesting, you know, for people like us. But I hope that somebody will do it.
If we remake it, we'll screw it up.
Yeah. I'm going to give this one a 3.5, both of them each. I enjoyed them. I don't know if I'd watch them again because I enjoyed them and, you know, the twist and all that, everything. But I recommend, if you got time, watch them. Watch them, folks.
Yeah.
Day Watch, Night Watch. Thank you, Hadley. Like I said, you get a bigger piece of cake than Scott.
Okay, I'll talk for a minute. I'm going to let Winter out, but I want to be back in time to hear about the Brawl on cell block 99 because I got a lot to say.
Okay.
And that Rich's gift to me.
Yeah. What are you doing for your birthday?
Huh?
What are you doing for your birthday, or did you do something?
Kids are coming over. We're gonna do ribs, but I'm just gonna do pizza because I got to work that day. So I was thinking ribs. Blaine was gonna make me ribs, but I'm just gonna do pizza. Kids are gonna come over, cake, and you know they're taking over the house payment for me. So
that's nice. Yeah.
No,
that.
Oh, they're not. They're not. But they're coming over. We're gonna have cake and food, so that'll be nice.
That's good.
You know, I'll probably get a box of gifted tidy whities, something like that. You know?
Oh man,
It's raining here, man. It's raining in the desert and it's cold. It's long enough here, man.
Yeah, it's cold here. It was 32 degrees when I went to work this morning.
It's 31 here.
And the Rich, do you have acorns dropping all over the place like American bombs on Berlin?
So I used to. I had a huge oak tree in the front yard, and when I tell you that those acorns were ankle deep, I'm not kidding. They 18, 25, 30 wheelbarrows full of acorns to take out back. So I cut that bitch down. I didn't do it. I had somebody else do it because it was so huge. It was too big for me, and it was right in front of. It was right on a main road. So I had some people come in and they took it down with a crane. But yeah, I used to get acorns like you can't imagine. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We're getting tons of them here, you know, and we had a nice mild summer, and between the cold now and the acorns, I think we're going to get a butt ripped this winter.
Yeah, we might. I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to bring. It's supposed to snow in the next few days somewhere here. I'm not ready for it. I'll be curious to see what's going to happen at the golf course because they stay open. The one I work in the mountains, they're closed, but this one stays open, you know, because they don't get as much snow down where we're at. So they stay open whenever someone's out there, man. So I'm curious to see how it is, new place. So,
well, I don't mind if we get a lot of snow days because I found out our school has a system. If you get a lot of snow, we don't call it off. What we do is the teachers email the students, this is your assignment, do them and pass them in tomorrow. And I'm the substitute, so I'm not going to be doing anything because if the teacher's homesick, they're still home.
Nice. All right, you ready, Rich?
Yeah. My film was it was a Vince Vaughn movie, and it was called Brawl in Cell Block 99, and it's called a neo-noir film by critics, and it was called boring by me. I mean, 2017's Brawl in Cell Block 99 stars Vince Vaughn, Don Johnson, Jennifer Carpenter, the Dexter's sister, and Mark Lucas. Vince's character, Bradley Thomas, is a typical bad decision maker, and his latest decision puts him as a drug driver for his buddy Gil. Gil's trying to hit the big time, and he gets involved with a minor Mexican drug lord who puts two of his flunky cronies with Bradley, that's Vince's character. And of course, they get caught, but not before Bradley saves the lives of some cops by betraying the bad guys. Bradley goes to prison, leaving his pregnant wife behind. Drug dudes kidnap wife and threaten to mutilate the unborn child unless Bradley gets put in a maximum security prison to kill some guy. Bradley beats up a couple of guards to do just that, gets to meet a sadistic Don Johnson, and it turns out the guy Bradley is supposed to kill is the drug lord who hired him in the first place, who's now in hidden cell block 99. Bradley, who's really a nice guy, brutally murders pretty much everybody to make a phone call, breaking the drug lord's leg and ensuring his wife is safe. Gil, who I really thought was going to be a bad guy, steps up and kills messenger gopher evil bastard Udo Kier, who works for the drug lord. I haven't seen Udo Kier in a minute, but we just saw him in something recently, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
Yeah, he was around in something. Anyway, Bradley gets his phone call. What's that?
Who was that?
Udo Kier. I think he's German. You'd know him if you saw him. If you know who he was. He was the guy. If you watch the flick, he was the guy who went into the prison and showed him the phone. So
the lawyer.
The placid.
Yeah, he's kind of like he's the messenger gopher evil bastard, right?
Yeah.
So Bradley gets his phone call, turns himself over to Johnson, who puts several bullets into Bradley to round out the film. So main character dies. Vince Vaughn dies. The fight scenes in the film are both cool and absurd at the same time, and if you want uber violent fights, this is the flick for you. If you can survive the boredom long enough to get there. I mean, violence like faces dragged across concrete to show bare skull. There was a couple of nasty scenes.
Yeah.
As slow as the film is, I can honestly say that the Bond nails the role as the brooding tough guy with a good heart and a propensity for extreme violence. Carpenter does well too, being the damsel in distress. Keir does okay as the psycho, and Blucas shocked me as a good friend to Vince instead of the bad guy I thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
Like most boring films, the critics love this one, and it has a 91% on the tomato meter. It was up for a couple of awards but didn't win any. But with a budget of $4 million, this flick made, wait for it, less than $80,000 at the box office. Probably because if you watched this in the theater, you fell asleep. I'm not going to recommend this movie, even though it was well acted, and I really, really like Vince Vaughn. If you watch this film, you can see, and if you watch this film and compare it to his current TV show, Bad Monkey, which we'll be doing in a minute, you can really see this guy's range. He is both funny, and he was very like deadpan in this movie, but not like a funny deadpan, like a don't screw with me deadpan. And people screwed with him, and he showed them just exactly how tough he was. He was like uber level, almost superhero tough. They were hitting him with sticks, and he just didn't care. Zapping him with this belt they put on him. And
Yeah.
he kills everybody. Like I said, it was well acted. I won't recommend it. What did you guys think? Did you like it?
Hadley, I'll let you know when we're done with everybody.
Okay.
Okay, well, let me just start from the beginning. This movie was so bad. I started watching it years ago, turned it off because I fell asleep, and it's a snooze fest. Rewatching it, it only gets good about, it's a 2-hour movie. It might have started getting good when he got to the cell block, which was like over an hour into it. So there's that. The charisma and chemistry between him and said wife is so bad. She was a mannequin could have acted better than this girl played this role. It was terrible. And the only thing I could think is, because remember her from Dexter, she was great, is she owned drugs because she looked like she was having some serious eating disorder going on. I just wanted to feed her a sandwich. And then why were they even together? That these people had no chemistry. He was so flat in this movie. Watching him in Bad Monkey, if I had seen him from this movie and didn't see him in anything else, I would never have watched anything with Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was gruesome when you got to the fight scenes. It stars, ? Don Johnson? No, he was like in 2 scenes and he sucked. I mean, it was just Don Johnson got a bunch of money for like showing up.
Yeah.
That was it. This movie was so bad. The only thing good about it was me wondering, is that the guy from Banshee when they were in the fight scene in the basement of said prison that was behind the fake wall? What the fuck was that even about? It was such a bad movie. I was sitting there going, who picked this? And then I couldn't believe that Rich picked this because he usually has. And I thought, well, he must have picked this because Alan worked in a prison at one time. That must have been why. And Alan, I don't know, but I think the Muppet raccoon deserves a bigger piece of cake than Vince Vaughn in this movie. Craig, this prison had a fake wall with like, it was so fake. It was like, it looked like a prepper's fake wall. It had like jars on it, like somebody's mason jars. Oh,
it was like a supply room, and then you go like push aside one of the shelves and went down.
Yeah.
It was so bad. So, I don't even know what to say about this, other than there's no chemistry. I don't know. Scott, I'll let you go.
Okay. The best part of this movie was Vince Vaughn. And I liked him in this because I saw this years ago, and I'm used to Vince Vaughn and Dodgeball and things like that. I think he played it really good as a straight character. I love the violence. Huh?
Sorry. That's my echo started going off. I'm sorry.
Oh, I love the violence. But there's so much wrong with the movie. The movie is way too long. They could have cut an hour out of this movie and it would have been much better. Yeah. All the other actors except his friend Gil were just like 1.5 dimensional in this one. How is he so violent?
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing. They mentioned he was a boxer, but like he takes on in one scene 4 of the prison guards and just like breaks arm and legs. They never explained that.
I thought he was doing Muay Thai. I was like, that's not boxing.
Exactly.
Martial arts.
You know, I think, and ironically, the director was Craig Zala, who did Bone Tomahawk. Yeah. So he must have like learned a lot going up. And to me, the whole movie was the message I got from it was his girlfriend cheats on him. He brings her back. She gets pregnant. He has to go do this job. He could have walked away and let those 2 assholes fight it out with the cops and never would have been known.
Yeah.
He goes in, he saves the cops. So they arrest him. They say he's not going to fight for himself. He did it. I'll go to jail. He goes to jail. Then Udo Kier comes in and does this whole thing. The whole thing was when the movie ended, nice guys. Well, no, not nice guys finished last. Nice guys finished last. Yeah.
Well, if you're a nice guy, you should finish last.
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
So you remember when they got finished or getting the drugs or whatever they got, the money or drugs, whatever.
Yeah.
They're walking on a pier. He tosses his bag into the water and says, "Toss it. We'll come back and get it later." And the other 2 guys were like, "They're not going to do that."
Yeah.
Whatever happened to the drugs?
Still there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why wasn't that even asked about? But we're gonna butcher your wife and kidnap her and abort your baby. But what about our drugs? I mean, drug dealers want their drugs.
Well, I just assumed they thought that the drugs were confiscated by the cops, because the only reason he had him there was because he wanted to torture the guy. He wanted to torture Vince Vaughn for screwing this one up. Oh, and it wasn't nice guys finish last. What I got out of this was no good deed goes unpunished.
There you go.
Before we turn this over to the birthday boy, I'm going to make this one comment. So you know that guy that looks like Vince Vaughn, but he played the alien in Men in Black? You know, in
Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yeah. He could have played this role. And it was like Vince Vaughn was playing him in that movie with the helmet. You know what I'm talking about. All right, that's it. Alan?
Well, Rich, you get a slightly bigger piece than Scott because of Vince Vaughn. This movie, Vince Vaughn, Udo Kier, Don Johnson, Jennifer Carpenter. Wow, hey, this might be pretty damn good. You know, and it's done by the guy that made Bone Tomahawk and Dragged Across Concrete, 2 movies we did on this show. And Vince Vaughn was in Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson, if you remember that movie. And that was a movie that was, you could chop an hour out of it and it would be really good. Just like this one. You need to chop at least an hour out of this and it'd be a grindhouse type of flick. That's what it kind of was, kind of grindhousey with all the violence and the goings on. Vince Vaughn wasn't at his best here. I think it was when he was hitting B movies, you know, his career kind of tanked because he's an outspoken 2A guy. And I think that's really kind of hurt his career. Yeah. You know, but now with this Bad Monkey, you know, people are like, oh yeah, I remember Vince Vaughn. I love Vince Vaughn. This is not his best flick by far. Don Johnson, like Hadley said, he came in, and I was all excited because I love Don Johnson from the '80s. You know, he had a good movie called Dead Bang, and that was a good flick. And of course, Miami Vice, right? And Jennifer Carpenter, like you said, her acting wasn't the best. You know, you used to her being, you know, awesome in Dexter.
Quarantine,
yeah. Quarantine, yeah. But she was a shell of herself in this. You know, the violence was over the top. Like you said, Vince Vaughn trained for 3 months, boxing and wrestling and stuff for this movie. They wanted Woody Harrelson, some of the producers did. And they thought, well, Woody Harrelson would just, you know, walk through it. The guy liked that Vince Vaughn was funny, and that's why he cast him against type in this movie. But, you know, it made, like you said, less than $80,000 at box office on a $4 million budget. And I was going somewhere with it. Oh, whoever made this movie, or whatever this guy, I forgot this guy's name, never stepped foot in a prison, spent a day in a prison. You know, I hate that. That's my pet peeve about prison movies. There are some that are realistic enough, but then, you know, every guard's corrupt. Every guard, you know what? You make California, we made good money to where you didn't want to do bad. You know, you wanted your retirement. You wanted to, you know, you didn't want to mess with that stuff. I'm not saying that shit like that didn't happen, you know, but they make it just sound like, you know, prison. Yeah, we'll look the other way. Yeah, you know, it's like, I hate that. I hate that about prison movies. Anyway, Rich, I'm still giving you a bigger slice of cake than Scott for Vince Vaughn and
another big one.
And Udo Kier, which you haven't seen enough anymore, but he's getting older. You probably won't. You'll probably see him in nothing soon. But, yeah. I can't say much. It was boring. The violence was good, grindhousey, but it was boring. And I know you don't hate me as much as Scott does. Thank you, and thanks everybody for the birthday well wishes. And
what do we rate this,
Hadley?
I'll give it a 1.
Oh,
I'll give this one a 2.5. This was not my favorite flick. I love Vince Vaughn, and I thought he did well here, but nah.
Scott?
1.25, and that's only because I like Vince Vaughn, and I thought the fight scenes and the gore were good.
I'll give it a 2 because of Vince Vaughn and some of the gore in it. You know,
I love Vince Vaughn. I can't even give it a 2. I mean, it's barely getting a 1. This movie was so bad.
It's too bad Vince Vaughn's not watching this, because he'd probably feel pretty good about, you know, the only reason we gave it the ratings we did is because of him.
This flick it's got a 91% on the tomato meter. How did that happen?
I don't know.
That right there proves
people
those
made it
critics are just full of crap.
Yeah. Well, it's like Bone Tomahawk. That's an interesting movie, but it's boring.
And it's too long.
It's
Yeah.
slow.
That was a good movie compared to this one.
Yeah.
I mean, you had good actors, you had a good storyline, it was compelling. This had none of that.
Yeah.
It had a fake wall and a fake prison.
It meandered. You know, the scenes before him really getting in trouble and stuff were kind of like meandering scenes. It's like, but.
And the guy who played his friend, I mean, that guy was like, I recognized him from other stuff.
Yeah.
He was in.
And he was like in there, like, what, 2 seconds? And the best scene with the wife in it was at the very end when she shot the guy.
Yeah.
That was, to me, that was like the highlight of the film, was to see her become a badass bitch there for a second.
Yeah.
And Udo Kier played himself. He was a great asshole in this movie.
He plays himself in most movies. You know, it's like, we need Udo Kier character. Okay, you know, and you've seen him in a lot of movies. I just can't think of one right now that comes to mind.
Blade.
Yeah, he was in one of the Blade
Oh,
movies.
Blade. Thank you.
He was the Blade, the old vampire.
And
He's been
Zoolander
in
to
a
be
ton of stuff like B movies.
yeah.
He was in Iron Sky. No, was it Iron
Yeah, he was
Sky?
in, like,
Iron Sky
yeah, he was in Iron Sky. Like
Yeah.
Iron Sky 1, 2, and 3.
Wait a minute. Is an Iron Sky 3?
Don't tell him. Don't
Scott's
tell
like, wait, what? I didn't get it.
I know that. I know what I'm watching this weekend.
him. Well, who wants to do Bad Monkey? We're on episode 9, right? Episode 9.
You do it. It's your birthday. Go for it.
Well, I watched episode 10 this week. I'm trying to remember episode 9.
Okay, episode 9 is where Yancey's carefully laid dress, the diabolical couple fall through,
Oh yeah,
heading towards the island.
that's right. That's where Yancey and Rosa meet Claspers, the airplane pilot, the smuggler pilot. That's and they're trying to get him to help them smuggle out Summer's Eve and Nick, so the FBI can grab him. And he's agreed to it because they're being his friend. He's so desperate for friends. That guy's great. He was the morgue doctor in Scrubs. I was like, where did I see that guy before?
Yeah, he's been a lot of stuff.
Yeah, plays that same type of character. And so they're about ready to get Summer's Eve and Nick, and of course it doesn't work out that way.
Yeah.
It does not work out that way. This is a good episode. What I like about this,
The ending of this episode was great.
yeah, it was, and it leads to episode 10, which if you haven't seen it yet, well, you're going to be like, oh man, I did not see that coming at all.
Several things I didn't see.
Yeah,
actually, 3
yeah.
of them at least.
Well, the Summer's Eve thing, I saw coming because of what the Dragon Lady said.
Yeah.
And then we're focusing on that. I told Tina, that's what's gonna happen to her. But the other part that happens to her, I didn't see coming. But yeah, this was a good episode. They're starting to wrap things up. I don't think episode 10 is that long either. I think, which is smart. They wrap it up and they don't extend out like a lot of series do. They'll extend out the last episode to get their hour long or whatever. So what do you guys think of this episode?
I thought it was good. I thought it was well done. There's a death in this episode that you don't see coming, and there's another violent type of scene with a fishing rod that
Oh yeah,
I really didn't see that coming, but it was kind of cool. It's what's the young kid's name? I just had his name in my head.
Neville?
Neville. Thank you. I can never keep his name. Neville shows up and he's a hero in this one, and he saves Yancey in a cool way that, like I said, I didn't see coming.
yeah,
But things start to fall apart for the bad guys here.
Yeah.
And Rosa and Yancey get found out because of what Alan said. I don't know if you mentioned how, but I don't know if I want to say that either, because it's kind of cool. You can see it coming.
Yeah.
But it was well done. It was well thought out. It leads terrifically into the final episode, which is must-see television.
yeah.
Actually, this whole show is must-see television.
I like how they expand on the Egg character, because he's a bad guy, but they show he's got some heart to him, even though he doesn't, do a bad guy with a heart of gold. It does show there's a person in there, especially the last episode,
Yeah.
Not the husband, right?
No.
a killer.
Egg is the sort of hitman that works for them.
Oh, him. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was involved. He was romantically involved, kind of briefly, I guess,
Right.
with the Dragon Lady.
Yeah.
Dragon Queen? What's her name? Queen?
Yeah. Dragon Queen, Gracie.
Dragon Queen. Yeah.
Gracie.
Like
Yeah.
Gracie. Jeez, I keep that name. It's my superhero power.
And I like how Gracie's mom shows up. on that.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. What's
We're
that you?
getting the good stuff. Bonnie and her escape.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, yeah, but
Bonnie escapes from prison. She seduces a guard, and they,
Yeah.
they run off.
Yeah.
Well, at
Yeah,
least it wasn't.
she decided
wasn't
that she had
16.
done enough. She had paid enough time.
Yeah.
No.
So
I liked it.
And what about Nancy leaving Rosa at the boat or the plane? Y'all forget that?
oh yeah.
That was.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I like them together. They seem to work.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. We could talk about that next week.
Yeah.
Bang.
No, I liked the episode. I thought it was great. You could see how they're setting it up for the ending.
I liked how Gracie found her way back to her faith
Yeah.
at the end. That she was calling down the storm. That she had summoned. She brought it down.
Yeah. I like the way. I like the fact that she's back into her faith, but I don't like the method in which she got there.
Yeah.
I'll just leave that out there. I don't want to say anything more on that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I thought it was her mom that really brought her back to it.
Yeah, she helped.
Yeah.
But I love me some Yaya.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Best actress in the thing, other than Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn's great. But
The
Oh,
monkey,
yeah.
what the hell?
great. What?
Don't forget the monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, monkeys. I guess.
Best actor in the whole show. I mean,
Good actor.
come on.
I actually thought the monkey would have had more of a role in
Me
that.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I haven't seen the 10th episode. You have.
Well, I mean, it continues like it is now with the monkey.
He's just
Bit parts.
Yeah. It makes the title of the show.
Yeah.
Bad
Has
thing.
anyone read these books?
No.
No.
I want to.
He's highly regarded. Carl Hyacin. He's highly regarded. So
He was a big name in the late 80s.
yeah.
I worked at a bookstore, and his books were coming out, and they would sell all the time.
Yeah.
Night,
Thanks,
Doc.
Doc.
Night, Doc.
Thanks
Pointed.
Thanks
Night,
for
Doc.
everybody coming.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad we could share my birthday with you guys.
Happy birthday.
And everybody gets cake.
Everybody gets cake.
It's guilt-free
Appropriately
cake. So
sized.
All right, kids, that's going to do it for us. Thanks for showing up. And you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you thought about the show.
That's going to do it for this week's show. For notifications each time the Wyrd Realities Network goes live, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. You can expect fresh weirdness 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week. But before we depart, let me give a special shout out to our incredible patrons, Mike Lewis, Landis Saldana, and Alan Lassiter. We couldn't keep the lights on here at Wyrd without you. And a very special thanks to our partners that keep Wyrd Reality spinning. It's you guys who make our weird world go round. And if you're interested in supporting our endeavors, consider joining the Cabal of Wyrd over at Patreon. And keeping you entertained and bringing you new content is our goal with every cent that you donate. And if you are interested in partnering or sponsoring, be sure to send us an email at weirdrealities@gmail.com. We are always interested in making new friends and creating a new tapestry of strangeness with you. So, until next week, kids, stay weird, you beautiful weirdos.
hey,